Symbols are one of the hidden languages of storytelling. From ancient times, when myths were used to explain reality, to modern media, where fiction is used to impart lessons about how to live one's life, symbols have always been a tool of the greatest storytellers. Oftentimes, they speak to us on a subconscious level, evoking emotions that are difficult to explain. Other times, they call back to literature or history, deliberately commenting on what a particular figure or event means to its culture. In this series, we'll explore the hidden meaning behind the symbols of modern media, pulling out the deeper messaging that lies hidden beneath the surface of our favorite films, games, and literature. For this episode, we'll be looking at the Halo universe and one of its most potent symbols, the coin. The coin is one of the most prominent symbols in the Halo franchise, recurring throughout its story at critical points and in various forms, to remind viewers of the meaning behind its narrative.
It was the coin's fault! I wanted to make you strong, keep you safe. I'm sorry, I can't.
When audiences were introduced to the world of Halo through its debut novel, The Fall of Reach, it wasted little time in establishing the concept behind its world, narrative, and characters. After a brief hook, promising readers action, excitement, and wartime exploits, we are introduced to the central character of the narrative, Dr. Halsey. Halsey is a brilliant scientist, intellectually superior to her fellow humans to the point where she has become emotionally distant and isolated from those around her, prioritizing the pursuit of scientific goals over common feelings and human emotion.
Doctor.
Torin.
Awaiting your orders, Dr. Halsey.
Start a pre-burn warm-up cycle for the fusion engines.
Understood, Doctor. Exiting slip space in 6 seconds.
Good, and some music.
The world she operates in is a spacefaring society, where humanity is spread across so many planets that the centralized government of Earth and its militarized inner colonies are losing control of the more distant and rebellious outer colonies. The escalating conflict is disrupting trade and communication between worlds at an exponential rate, quickly plunging humanity into a new dark age of starvation, civil unrest, and near constant war, threatening the survival of our species. This is the who, what, where, and why of our story.
I am painfully aware of the rebellion, Lieutenant. Something needs to be done. Oni agrees with me. That is why we are here.
But what could you possibly need to recon out here?
And it is in the second scene of the novel that this question is answered.
We are here to observe a boy, the first of many evaluations in the weeks to come.
I'm supposed to be protecting shipping lanes, not babysitting.
This child could be more useful to the UNSC than a fleet of destroyers, 1,000 lieutenants, or even me. One child could be the difference between peace and an unwinnable war.
He can't be more than
6. John, like all of our candidates, is 6 years old. And like the others, he has all the genetic markers. Here, record our interaction. I'll talk to him, find out if his character is as exceptional as his DNA.
During Halsey's first meeting with John, the schoolyard bully who would eventually grow into the heroic Master Chief,
Hello. What's your name?
the first prominent symbol of the Halo franchise is introduced.
This is a coin. Win the game, and you keep the coin. You see the two sides?
Yes, a man and a bird.
Which side will land up?
As Halsey would later explain, the coin has a literal function, helping to narrow down her list of 150 potential candidates to the final 75 allowed by her project's funding, with the 50-50 chance of selection.
Bird.
That's unusual.
But in the context of our story's beginning, where the reader is being introduced to the premise and concept of its world and characters, the coin serves a more important function. In the novel, Halsey explains,
People used coins like this for currency a long time ago. when Earth was the only planet we lived on.
This places our narrative in time, explains its temporal relation to the world we know today. It reinforces that the events we are witnessing take place far in the future. Yet the coin, a remnant of our present day, symbolizes something else as well. While any type of coin could have been used, it is specifically depicted as a United States quarter, with George Washington on one side and the American eagle on the other. From its second scene, the Halo universe has explicitly stated that it contains important connections to the historical United States. By giving the United States some presence in this narrative from the outset, Eric Nyland, the book's author, is asking us to keep history in mind as we fill in the gaps between our current era and the present day of the Halo universe. Through this lens, we see that the current civil conflict between the inner colonies and outer colonies is a direct reflection of America's founding, when England's 13 North American colonies eventually made a violent bid for independence against the Crown. This immediately establishes a motif which will come to be used regularly across the Halo franchise, best exemplified by the often cited quote, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes." In the Halo narrative, this rhyme takes the form of echoes, icons, events, and characters, which reflect elements from Earth's historical past. In the 26th century, the UNSC is the monolithic military that represents Earth and its inner colonies, and which we as the player serve. The UNSC provides all of the weapons, vehicles, ships, reinforcements, and command directives that carry us through the storylines of the many Halo games, including a dedicated Marine Corps, a distinctly American organization. In passing, the UNSC may seem no different than other generic space militaries you've seen across science fiction. But viewed closer, in context of these echoes, it becomes clear that the UNSC doesn't just have direct ties to the military of our present day. It was born out of it. The United States gained preeminent power on the world stage during World War II, when it built and deployed the world's largest industrially fueled military force, and established its reputation as a country willing to bring its full weight to bear on any problem, to stop at nothing, to ensure the survival of democratic institutions, and ensure its position at the top of the world power hierarchy. After the war ended, the United States established the UN, the United Nations, to prevent conflicts like the World Wars from occurring again. But simultaneously, this was also a means by which the United States could export its particular brand of capitalist democracy across the globe, leading by example, or coercion, to bring the entire political ecosystem under its control. Many other nations began to replicate the model of the United States' economic and military-industrial complexes, which has led to the globalized world we live in today. The United States became the model for all world military powers, and eventually, in the Halo universe, the founding model for all Earth military forces deployed throughout human space. This is what's implied through the symbol of the coin. Halo's early world builders made a bold statement that this science fiction universe is explicitly and directly tied to the real-world history of the United States, and that this is something we as the audience must know going in from the very beginning if we're to extract the intended messaging from the story. What would happen if the current trajectory of the United States military dominance never slowed down, but accelerated? What would this mean for our species as we move out into the stars? What kind of world would that give birth to? And, perhaps most importantly, is this a world we would truly want to live in? This messaging is something I immediately recognized when I first read The Fall of Reach at age 14, and it's an explicit part of what drew me into this universe in the first place. It was a universe with something to say. This is something that Halo fans have rallied behind. In fact, when Halo was finally adapted into a streaming series on Paramount+, many were upset by the revisionist approach the scriptwriters used in adapting the source material, one which altered this deliberate commentary. In their first season, It is not a US quarter that Halsey flips, but a UNSC challenge coin, whitewashing the franchise's callback to challenging topics in history. Sharp-eyed fans noticed this, and for Season 2, Paramount reversed course, and once again, had John using a United States quarter. And if you want to see a much more in-depth breakdown of the history of the Halo universe, check out Episode 1 in my Road to Halo series, The History of War. Hey everyone, I'd like to take this moment to thank my legendary Patreon supporter, Sally, who also happens to be my mom. Thanks, Mom. If you have any interest in supporting the creation of more content for this channel, including my longer documentary-style videos, check out Offscreen's Patreon page, where you can contribute as little as $1 per month to ensure me and my team can keep making content like this for you to enjoy. If you're unable to contribute on a monthly basis, Offscreen now has a Buy Me a Coffee page, where you can leave a one-time tip if you enjoyed any of our content. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next video.